So I'm referring to him, as I was forgetting, most people probably know what I'm talking about, my friend, Scott Zolak. So I will preface it by saying that. We've had a good relationship for a long time. Zolak's a dummy, but he's a smart dummy. And that once he realized this guy makes fun of everybody, I'll start being nice to him proactively, and then we won't be able to make fun of me. I'll tell him how great he is. Which, as everybody knows, that's all you have to do.
Right.
So we did that. We've always gotten along great with my parents and my situation, and he's always been reached out. Very, very, very nice guy, in my experience. So he's on his show Thursday, right, or Friday or something? Thursday. It's the sports radio station 98.5 that's against EEI in Boston. And Cam Newton's the Patriots quarterback, who I think are playing right now, correct?
Correct.
In their final preseason game. We're taping this, of course, on Sunday night, which is also weird, Mike. There's no church music here. I think that church is done.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I have not
seen them at all.
I haven't seen any activity from them in months.
No, this is
By the way,
first
since
night
Steve
in a
left,
while.
I don't know what that. I don't know if he was like their leader in a weird way.
Oh, perhaps. The Robinson cult.
Yeah, it could be.
He is a religious man.
What's that? Is that downstairs?
There was one downstairs,
Right
but there's
next
one
door.
right.
Okay,
like
so next door was when I showed up, there was 1,000 people over
tonight.
there. Yeah.
Oh, so they
rocking
were
it
earlier
out.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, we'd be doing it on Sunday nights. We did a shitload of Sunday nights during the pandemic because the kids
Last summer, yeah.
the kids were home, and during the spring. Remember, just during the wall would be shaking behind Steve sometimes.
Right.
Nobody wearing masks. I just assumed they all died. But I'm glad that they're doing well. And I don't know how Steve's Greek guy is doing downstairs.
Oh, I don't see any of the people here anymore.
Tell
I
you,
don't see the mailman.
I think it's Steve. I haven't seen the mailman in a while either.
No.
That's true. Yeah.
It's very sad.
I don't know if he hated Steve or not.
I don't think so.
No?
I think he...
But yeah, no. But so anyway, Scott Zolak, Zo as he's known, was talking about, so Cam Newton sucked last year. You know, I say this in all honesty, I've never seen Cam Newton throw a pass as a Patriot. So I know his numbers were bad. I don't know how bad.
He got COVID too. He was out.
COVID, but he didn't, right? And then he
Yeah.
sort of did. And I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. You know. I'll weigh in on my thoughts on Newton versus Jones in a minute.
Okay, good.
So he's at practice, and Zolak, for some reason, is on the field. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. So I don't know. So he's watching it and broadcasting back, and he says, we don't have the sound, do we, Dave?
Yeah, we have the sound.
Oh, we have the sound of Zo. All right.
I don't know why everyone else, I haven't heard the sound on radio.
All right, Dave. Your dick is out. Congratulations.
No, that's not what I mean.
The one man in America found this sound.
Mike Wallace, go ahead.
I turn off the rap music, first of all, because I think it's distracting for Cam here. Because in between every throw, he's dancing.
I did see Karen Garisian of the Herald tweeting about that as he took the field. He's doing it in between drills, you're saying.
Yeah. He makes a throw, and then the music's still cranking. I know you can hear it faintly in the background here.
I think it's distracting for you.
No.
Okay, so that's really it, right? That's sort of the
all.
core thing, right?
Yep.
And then Zolak says he says Cam's articulate, and he gets into that stuff, which is weird.
Oh, did he?
No, he did not.
I was going to say, well, then we go down a strange road.
He did not. So, I mean, I guess my thoughts on that are, you know, like this is like we do this all the time. It's 2021. You cannot say that a black quarterback shouldn't be dancing to rap music in between plays. First of all, I think it's just like athletes have music. It's almost like a weird parallel to Chris Curtis's thing about taking pictures of baseball games a few weeks ago. Like this is just what they do. Like, you know, professional athletes just do this now. Golfers do it when they're warming up. They have their friggin' headphones on. Like, this is what goes on. A lot of them, I mean professional athletes, Mike. I know what you mean.
I figured. That's what you meant.
Like rap music. I personally don't, but that's okay. You know, I mean, I'll listen to it in the car before the show to fire myself up. I'll be dancing around. But you know, the minute you do that, like you're just gonna get in trouble if it gets heard and somebody makes a big deal out, which TMZ did. I guess somebody put the video out and it kind of blew up, and it did blow up. By the way, like it was trending. Zolak was trending for like a day. TMZ had it. USA Today wrote about it. I saw a bunch of blue check marks tweeting about it. Do I think that if Mac Jones was drafted last year, started at quarterback, sucked through, I think Cam Newton had 8 touchdown passes last year.
Sure.
Had 8 touchdown passes. Zolak was down at practice, and Mac Jones was dancing around to Bruce Springsteen in between. Do I think Zolak would say you should cut that shit out? I do believe that.
Right.
I mean, I just do. But that being said, it almost doesn't matter. Like you just can't. We live in a world now where you just can't say that. You just can't.
As is often the case, it's way more racist to hear that sentence and think he must hate black people. They're referring to blacks.
Right.
Because rap is for black people.
Well, I saw a
only.
lot of dog whistle stuff, and so I talked to Jerry about it. I'll get to that sort of side. Well, yeah.
Well, come on.
And Jerry said, do you think it's just the fact that he said rap music? I said, absolutely not. If Scott Zolak is saying that a black quarterback should stop dancing around and listening to music, he'd be just as fucking crucified. I mean, it's first of all, it's a stupid take anyway. Like that's
It's just an old man.
Yeah, and it's just like dumb and pointless. Like there's no. But I also don't think he's one of the world's great minds. So I think he's down there trying to say something, and he says it, and then, but I mean, it fucking.
Why is it that stupid?
Well, because all
He sucks, and he looks like he's having a grand old time.
I see Brady do this. I see all these guys. Now I know Brady's the best quarterback of all time, the best player. But I mean, this is what athletes do nowadays. Like I watched fucking Bryson DeChambeau before his round this morning at headphones. Like this is not a big deal. Like, do you think if Cam Newton wasn't fucking dancing around, which I don't even know if he was, or listening to music in between plays, like he'd have 35 touchdown passes last year?
No.
Of course not.
No.
Well, it's a take that when, like...
The Patriots have been doing that for years.
20 years ago, this was a story all the time. Like when fucking Joe Horn pulled a cell phone out of the
Monday Night Football,
goalpost
whatever.
and T.O. was signing footballs and shit.
Right.
Like this conversation happened every week. Now I'd name 2 black guys, I guess. So maybe they were racist then too. But like the celebration shit, it's an get off my lawn, old man type of thing. It's not a race thing, I don't think.
I mean, again, if Zolak's, and the other thing is if you're the kind of guy who wants to keep your job, which he did, he kind of rolled over, which he had to tonight on the pregame show.
Yeah.
Then you just can't say stuff like that. Like that's the rules. Like if you want to, that's okay. Like I guess if you want to keep that job, the minute that happens, and it's just, this is what's going to happen. And I don't, like I said, I personally don't think it came from a place of racism. That's just my take on it. I know the guy. He seems like a good guy. I don't think. I don't see it. Now people will hear this and say, "What the fuck you're talking about?" They're probably right. I don't know. But like I heard it and I thought, but I also have a pretty good nose on stuff blowing up, and I was like, this one's gonna be big. Then TMZ had it, and I was like, well, I don't know what's gonna happen.
They cut out the part where he was like, unless it's Leonard Skinnard, then that they can listen to.
Well, that's
fine.
But again, I would just say, I don't know. I think if a white quarterback sucked, I think he'd have the same old man take about it.
Right.
So that's it. And now we're at a place where people are trying to bring people down, which happens all the time. And this is where my other thought on it is this is a study in where EEI sucks at this, or has in the past, and 98.5 is great at it. So, if I had said this in the past, or Jerry or Dino or whoever, someone on the air, if we'll get to the fact that how the media would have handled it versus handled this, it would have been big, and we would have gone on the air the next day and talked about it and got after our critics, which would have made it even bigger and bigger and bigger. 98.5 is like, everyone shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Nobody say anything. Nobody tweet anything. Zoe, go on the Patriots pregame show and just give your, frankly, I'm sure, bullshit apology. And then it's going to just drift away when the next story happens. No one's going to lose their job. Nobody will spend a day in sensitivity training. There's not going to be any op-eds. You're not getting the fights with, Jamel Hill on Twitter. It's not going to be counterproductive. I'm saying this from a business sense. From a content sense, it sucks. But from a business sense, to just kind of keep the ship going downstream, it's fucking great. EEI would fuck this up every which way possible.
Did EEI, just in contrast, did EEI go after him for this at all? I didn't really hear a lot from them.
Curtis and Ken talked about it on their weekend show. Somebody tweeted me, and I tweeted it to Dave.
And it's really,
and they
really
had Jermaine Wiggins on, and Jermaine Wiggins was seemed pretty upset about it. So I imagine he'll probably talk about it tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, they should. I mean, it's a great talker. It's a great topic because first of all, it's local, and secondly, it's going to generate interest. But I don't, like the thing a couple of years ago, Felger, semi-famously in Boston went after Roy Halladay. And there's only one person who protested that thing. Only one person that gets to do that. But it was a stupid thing to say. Obviously, he was mocking a guy who just died to his kids. Fucking stupid, right? I mean, obviously, I was making a parody of the fake outrage to it.
Right.
But I think TV suspended it from a day. I don't think 98.5 did.
No, because
maybe the other way
remember
around.
the sad face he was on, and he talked about you. He was like, the one laugh I got was Minahan.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was the next day.
Right. Yeah. So we started a show with it, and then it was never discussed again. They never talk about it again. That's, again, if you want to keep your job and you don't care about addressing topics or being whatever that word is that we do, Like they're great at that, and that's why that's part of the reason why they're more successful, and part of the reason why they stay out of like big trouble. This would have been if Jerry had said this in 2017 with me or something. It would have been the biggest story in Boston. He would have got fired. Like I am convinced they would have fired him.
Well, Dave told me Chad Finn didn't even write about it.
Well, I wanted to get to that too. Yeah. So let me talk about BetterHelp first because they've joined us again this week, and boy does this show need BetterHelp. You should think about this, Dave.
I have been.
Yeah, I like that Dave's like on Friday was like, well, I don't deal with any mental health stuff. I'm a picture of mental health.
Well, Dave's like, Dave's pity party has been.
That is
I
not
have
what
never
I'm
seen
trying
anything
to
like
do.
this.
I meant to bring that up.
That is not what I'm trying to do.
And again, probably not. I think BetterHelp would respect this because they know real mental health versus faking mental health. Like, I think they'd be disgusted by Dave. I think Dave Cullinane is the one person who would call the great people at BetterHelp, and BetterHelp would say, you know what? We're passing. Other than him, they're the greatest.
on just normal counseling.
Yes, I think they would say you're full of shit. Like you're just you're not. You have to have some level of intelligence to have. Well, and there's Mike. This is tough. I guess you have to have a baseline working brain. I guess I suppose, which I guess Mike has, and I guess Justin has. I don't know.
Yeah. We're at odds with ourselves.
But Dave is clearly. This is like.
I like the, and I believe I've been in this position also, so I know what he's thinking and feeling. Mm-hmm. But I really enjoyed on Friday when he's like, I wish I could give myself 115% of the blame, but there's only 100 I can give out.
Yeah. Come on. Well, you know what? You know what hurts this guy? I was just looking out for Justin.
I wish I could take my bones and organs out to fit more room for sorry. I don't have enough room for sorrow.
This has been the worst week of my life. Tough life.
No, I've had it easy, actually.
Yeah, tough life. Your boss lost $30,000.
I know.
I do know how he feels. It is, you feel like it's never going to end. I understand.
Well, it's not. This will stick to Dave forever now.
Right.
Like you never lose that.
Right.
No, don't you think?
I know. Trust me, I know.
Thank you. I trust you. Okay, so, we've talked about BetterHelp. They've been a great sponsor for us for months now. Great partnership. It's customized online therapy that offers video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. You can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours, unload the stressors, and get some unbiased feedback. And that's the best thing. You talk to somebody who has, it's not that they don't care. Of course they care. They're not coming at you from a position of judgment. So the things you're worried about, you're not sure you want to talk about, you're kind of embarrassed about, like with his bedwetting, like he can have these conversations. And I mean, like when I'm not talking about little sprinkles on the bed. I am talking like, this guy doesn't pee all day and then he just falls asleep at night and just rips it like a little baby. He's so happy.
I'm embarrassed to take it out. That's what.
And I don't know what does the therapist say? What is the core of that?
I don't know. We haven't worked. I don't use BetterHelp, so I haven't gotten to the bottom of it yet.
Always one of the best in the commercials. Isn't it, Dave, when he says that?
He's great.
Isn't he good?
He's great.
Isn't he good? Some work now, Dave.
I don't know. Why do I pee the bed?
Did you mark that one down there?
Yes, I got it.
That's good. He's the best, folks. Unload the stressors, get some unbiased feedback, as I said. See if it's for you. BetterHelp.com/Kirk10, BetterHelp.com/Kirk10. People, by the way, Sacco, a couple people said they've used this and it's been helpful, so I was glad to hear that. BetterHelp.com/Kirk10, BetterHelp.com/Kirk10, 10% off your first month. So, amazingly, and again, I don't want Scott Zolak to get fired or suspended. Not at all. Not at all. I'm glad. And the Crafts clearly are fine with it. He's doing the game, I think, tonight. Good. And life goes on, and he said something stupid, and he owns it, and life goes on, as it should. But, again, the old double standard. If I had said this or Jerry had said this, the Boston Globe would have op-eds. They'd be writing about this forward. And this is where I agreed. The one thing I agreed with my friend, Chris Curtis, who clearly felt the same way. I thought Curtis, did a pretty good job. Now, Curtis was kind of and Dave is right, this idea that, Brady did it. Well, Brady's the best player ever. So you should throw the Brady thing out. So right. Curtis was kind of fault. And Curtis was kind of into I'm a white kid. I don't really understand doing that bullshit. But where he was right is the Globe. Literally, Chad Finn, what I saw, has tweeted one syllable about it. Somebody asked him if he knew about it. He said yes. He hasn't written anything. He hasn't tweeted anything that I know of. He's tweeted about a baseball card story he wrote like 12 times over the weekend. So he's been around. He's a media critic, and a guy from 98.5 did this. And again, 98.5 is in bed with the Globe. 98.5, has a great relationship with the Globe. So you're not going to see that. You're not going to see op-eds from Renee Graham or Shirley Leong at the Globe or any of these people who are calling for me to be fired like they have in the past, or Jerry or whatever. This sort of negative culture thing, Nope, none of that. it's embarrassing for a media critic. I mean, it's fucking beyond embarrassing for a media critic not to even write what you want, right? That he shouldn't be fighting. And the thing is, he's in a tough spot because he's this sort of liberal guy who always does the stuff about Jerry, and then something like this happens where he would clearly, he wouldn't really believe it, but he would clearly say if it was me or Jerry, here's racism. Same thing happens, and he doesn't write a fucking word about the toxicity of sports radio and the masculinity and white privilege and this and that. None of it. Dead fucking silence. Tweeting about Topps 1986. Like, it might as well be fucking TJ Hubbard is the fucking media critic of the ball. I mean, it's unbelievable. Fucking unbelievable.
He has some good cards.
It's embarrassing. Chad Finn, it's fucking embarrassing.
Well, the weird thing is that he more than if it was you, it would be different. I also feel like he probably doesn't think that Zolak should be fired, so he won't write that. You know what I mean? Like they're not allowed to say, "Hey guys, this one is not that bad. Zolak's not a racist." Like they're not allowed to do that.
Nope, they stay out of it completely. And he's a media. It says it in his Twitter bio, I believe. He's the media critic for a sports media critic for the Boston Globe. A huge media figure in the city, was part of a story that went national, like absolute national, blew up. One guy I wrote about, Alex Reamer, who I thought is a friend, but I thought wrote an embarrassing column.
What was his take?
Well, it was just the old fashioned same. And he said this thing where and this is what Curtis kept saying, and Jermaine Wiggins, the part it just brings back the old, now we have to have this conversation again. And
Boston's
it's like,
racist.
Yeah, well, no, we don't. The Adam Jones thing didn't happen. The Torrey Hunter thing, Torrey Hunter makes Adam Jones look like a fucking beacon of truth.
They were all chanting.
Torrey Hunter's story is 10 kids were chanting and their parents were cheering them on. It's a fucking lie.
The PA guy gets on, starts saying it.
It's just a lie. And on Greg Hill's show, the show that Jermaine Wiggins is on, and Danielle was like, I don't know why people want proof. And they're just sitting. It's fucking embarrassing. So no, did shitty things happen to Bill Russell 60 years ago? Fucking A right. Do people use the N-word in Boston? Yup. Did they use it in Tulsa? Tacoma? Yup. All over the place. You bet. So to me, this doesn't make things, the guy from Pennsylvania was on the field of practice and said something has nothing to do with the history of racism in Boston. It's a fucking reach. And then people are like, these same people like Alex are like, I just don't want to talk about this anymore. Yes, you do. You're happy when this stuff happens. Cut the fucking shit. Yeah. You're happy when this happens. And, I like Alex and everything, but, he would never come on here. He's fucking afraid to come on here because he's a corporate fucking stooge boy. He's a little corporate fucking intercom, pussy. And I say this as a friend, I'm just saying. I like Alex. He's not going to like hearing this. Yeah. He loves the show. I love Alex, but, he'd tell you, he's corporatized for all his sort of waving his arms and doing his whole thing. He's sitting there saying that, he's trying to pretend that the Torrey Hunter thing happened. Like, you're fucking thrown out of court when you say that. Again, Torrey Hunter's claim was that 10 kids were chanting the N-word at Fenway Park, and people in the stands and their parents were cheering them on.
Nodding
it's the fucking stupidest fucking bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
It's the frustrating part is just how much of a reflex it's become now. Like, there's no passion behind it now. It's not like, fuck Scott Zolak, let's get him fired. It's like you hear a clip and you're like, oh, it's racist. And then Zolak's like, I'm sorry. And then we just move on.
Right. It's gone. Like I said, I give 95 credit. They handled it very well. And now it's gone. It sticks to him now, of course, when he tweets something. I'll always have before people saying you're racist. But it's not going to really matter.
I searched just his last name to see what people were saying. And it's like people that obviously don't know who he is would bring, oh, what does Scott Zolak think about this? So it's like that. Now you've put that reputation on a guy who's never shown a racist bone in his body that I know of, And
I get along great with Reamer, but I read that and I was like, yeah, well, you fucking, peddling this bullshit out again. And you're the one that's continuous narrative, not us. You guys write these stories. You guys talk about Adam Jones like it happened, or Torrey Hunter like it happened, or somebody's experience in 1978. I don't know. Nor does Alex, nor does Scott Zolak, nor does Chad Finn, nor does Chris Curtis. Nobody fucking knows. What were you going to say, Dave?
I was just going to say, nobody really of value went in on Scott Zolak over the weekend, though. No huge name.
No, because everyone likes him.
Yeah.
And 985 is protected. That's how it works.
This would be if he was
not that bad a comment, if we're being honest.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
I know, but this is the most.
That's irrelevant. I mean, that doesn't. We were killed for called racist because we didn't think that somebody called somebody the N-word.
Right.
Like that, and it was locally the story was 50 times bigger than this.
Yeah, but even that, I can at least see how they can twist it into, oh, you're saying like black people are lying about their experience or something.
Well, I
can see how that can be twisted.
I don't. I think two black people have lied about it. Adam Jones and
I know,
Tory
but
Hutchinson.
I'm saying it's easy.
I think plenty have heard it. Like I don't.
I'm saying it's an easy twist to be like, oh, well,
even the Kyrie Irving thing. It was just a meathead fan who threw a fucking ball. What the fuck are we doing?
And that's more sensational because it involves the N-word, where this is like, hey, turn down your music. You know,
Right.
it's fucking ridiculous that it even became a thing.
Well, no, but I mean, but I like I said, optically, I understand it. Like you know, it's a white guy telling a black guy to stop dancing, listening to rap music. Like I do get how that. I completely get how that looks bad.
I think it's more of it's a 58-year-old guy telling a 30-year-old guy something. You know what I mean?
I think there's some of that too.
That's
Yes.
more what I think it is.
But I'm saying I could see how somebody from Louisville reads it in TMZ and is like, "What the fuck?"
Right.
You know, and which is I think you're right. It was more. To Dave's point, nobody locally talked about it. No, but Chris Curtis and Ken Laird on a weekend.
But
show,
isn't that the
four people
sweet spot?
listened
That's like the sweet spot. Like Chad Finn should be fucking
Of course,
digging
but
and
he's-
writing
but
about
he-
it every day, 3 columns.
He should love it. When you were saying like Reamer loves it, Chad Finn should be ecstatic because he has something to write about now.
Yes, but he doesn't want to upset 98.5 and his friends. And I saw guys like Chris Gasper who work at 98.5 saying that it was everyone's defending. It's part of being a nice guy. Like I'm not perceived as a nice guy, nor is Jerry. So it's our time to eat shit. We have to eat shit because we would give them shit.
Right.
That's how it works.
As a media critic, what does he like write about?
I have no idea.
If he's not writing about this,
I have no idea.
What in Boston? Because I mean, Ordway retiring. I guess
I don't even
maybe?
know.
Like, what the fuck does he write about?
Like this should have been. I think his column comes out every Friday, right? Like this happened Thursday, but blew up Friday. Like this is the kind of thing where it's like, well, you can't. Like you have to write a story for today about this. And what's your opinion? And talk to some people. What is the mood from? Because here's the deal. Like for all the 98.5 stuff, and for all, this is great, they had his back. If Bob and Jonathan Kraft called 98.5 and said, we want him gone, he's gone.
Right.
Like it's that simple. He's off the broadcast and he's off the air.
Right.
Like they just didn't, so why don't they criticize them? Like, because they would criticize our bosses if they kept us.
Yeah.
So like, why, and again, I don't think anybody should lose their job on this, but I'm just like, what's Chad Finn tweeted about today?
I just pulled up his columns. His latest column, by the way. Will professional sports teams try to limit media access after the pandemic?
Oh, great.
God, I sure hope not.
Jesus. So he retweeted somebody talking about Zolak, which is like your typical move when you don't want to get involved in it.
See, I talked about it.
So since Friday, he's tweeted, let me count. I'm trying to count the number of times he's
Big retweet guy.
a lot of them, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times I count at least he's tweeted or retweeted somebody writing about his baseball card column.
Well, that's good.
And I'm a former baseball card writer. I understand that, but like as a media critic, I feel like there's probably bigger stories. But he does the retweet and stay out of it.
They made a big comeback during the pandemic.
They sure did.
Yeah.
They sure, which I don't really understand, but what the hell do I know? So yeah, I mean that's like it's not to me as always. It's not what he said. Whatever. If you think he's racist, you're gonna think he's racist. If you don't like him, you're gonna say he's racist. Like I get it. I get the whole thing. I like him, so I'm gonna say I don't think he's racist. Like this, that whole fucking side of it. I'm always more interested in sort of how it's handled, how it's covered, how people talk about it, who doesn't talk about it, and of course, like I think they'll talk about it in the show tomorrow on Greg Hill's show. It seemed like Jermaine Wiggins was, or I guess if you're listening to this, I don't know. Jermaine Wiggins was kind of upset about it. Great, fine, whatever. Maybe Zolak will open the show tomorrow talking about it, and then that's it.
Well, it would be so much more. That's the thing is like, I don't know if Zolak really can talk about it because it'll become a bigger thing.
Correct.
I mean, I think he should,
right,
if he has an interesting opinion on it. But the problem is, like, he can't. What would be so much more interesting is if Zolak had a conversation with someone where he was like, at the end of it, he was like, oh, you know what? That is maybe more racially based than I even realized.
Sure, but they're not going to.
But they'll never do that. But that's what would be like a productive conversation.
All right, but here's what happens.
Not just scolding him. And,
here's what happens. The PD, I think Rick Radzek, who's a very nice guy over there, I think is a PD there still. Or whoever they have do this, whoever their fucking brand manager comes in and says, well, if you talk about this for 4 hours, you're going to say something that people are going to blow out of, and then what's the fucking point?
Right.
As opposed to just getting your huge ratings, talk about the fucking Patriots game, and then it's gone by, I don't know, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like just completely gone.
Did you hear the? Did you listen to the apology?
Yeah, I hate that.
He was scared shitless
it makes
to
me
talk
so.
about
It makes me so uncomfortable as somebody. Again, I don't pat myself on the back. I have the greatest apology in history. I was suspended for my apology, which is really, basically fired that day until they were like, well, if we fire this guy, the fucking show is sunk. Like, this is like, I really like Zolak, but this is like.
I think it probably must have killed him, too, because he seems like, I mean, he's a guy that likes you. So I imagine he's kind of anti-cancel culture and that sort of shit.
I have no idea. I really don't. I texted him and said, listen, just fucking hang. This stuff happens.
Yeah.
And he didn't respond. I'm sure he's been busy all weekend. But I suspect that he thinks this whole thing is bullshit. I'm guessing. I think that is honestly a complete guess.
Well, yeah.
And maybe that's not the best way to think. I don't know. I know I get like that sometimes. But this is a guy who, if they had said, literally said, you have to fucking drink Cam Newton's piss all year, he would have done it here. Like, it was sad.
Boss.
It was like I thought they were gonna make him literally dance at midfield to country music. Or something.
It is cool to bust a move to this rap music.
Yeah, that would not have been good if you just gone full rap mode there.
But don't you think there's been similar comments made by other sports media personnel, even locally? I mean, all people were talking about was the way he dressed before games. And it's basically, why does he care about what he dresses, but not about, he's not putting the effort in practice or on the field.
Sure. And I think, I see guys from Barstool, I think Feilerberg and all these guys, when he goes to a game, he's dressed like he's dressed. Everyone's like, oh, the king, he looks awesome. And I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't wear that. What the fuck do I know? But I stay out of it because I have no fucking clue.
Right.
But do I think, if Cam Newton dressed like what people would want him to dress in a different mindset, would he have thrown 40 touchdown passes last year? I do not.
No.
Because
that's how he was when he won the Heisman.
Yeah,
he was like that,
Did he win the Heisman?
I think so, right?
Oh, he won the MVP. I know that.
Yeah,
he did win the Heisman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But same when he won the MVP. He was the fucking MVP.
Right.
They were 15-1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
lost in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They lost to what? Denver.
Broncos. Yeah.
I mean, he's been doing it his entire career. Nobody's had a problem with it.
No, I don't. I can't. I can pretend to be get upset, but what the fuck? I don't. What? I'm old. This is how I really try my hardest. I understand how it works. My dad and mom would bitch about my music. I try not to, but I understand. It's just a natural thing. You hear your kids' music, you're like, oh, I don't fucking like this. And to pretend to like it is almost worse.
Yeah.
You're being such a phony.
Well, I was just going to say, it'll be great if Zoe, with no irony, tries to squeeze in Kanye dropped his new album. It was great. Donda, I was bobbing my head to it.
Track 4 is a bomb. Fucking awesome. Play. I guess makes me, this is as uncomfortable as it gets for me.
We're now joined to set the scene with Zoe. He's at MetLife Stadium. Zoe brought to you by AdCare. 1-800-ALCOHOL. Speak up, reach out, get help. Asking for help takes courage. Be recovery strong. Visit adcare.com.
And brought to you by the Massachusetts chapter of the Ku Klux Klan.
Good job as always.
Thanks, Zoe. Zoe, you've made some headlines here in recent days.
Yeah.
I know you wanted to address this first thing coming on, so go ahead. Have at it.
Absolutely. First thing coming on, and I didn't want to put this into print or put it out there or hide behind any sort of a statement, but going back to last Thursday's practice, you weren't in Beetle. I was at practice, and it was Cam's first day back at practice, and we had some issues back in studio. So Hardy and Adam were back there.
The fucking music in the background.
Evaluate Cam through the process of his first couple throws, and I blame music for being a distraction in his preparation. In between a couple throws that he had.
Hold on. I don't think he's really blaming music. I think he's more blaming Cam Newton, isn't he?
I blamed the arts.
I don't think it's whoever invented music. I don't think should be to blame. I don't know. Go ahead.
Between a couple throws
this weekend I watched Footloose, and it changed my philosophy on this thing.
That's what I mean. He's nervous, though. Okay.
Yeah.
Preparation in between a couple throws that he had. And I referenced the genre rap that was being played, and it's something I know it's drawn attention to, and for being racially insensitive. I'm sorry for that comment. I didn't need to make that comment. I should not even ever bring any sort of music into play because I have no clue what's going on in a player's head. But
always good to hear from an analyst.
It's been a rough last couple days here, and I want to do this on air. It's the first time I've been on air since Thursday. Friday was an off day. We traveled down here yesterday.
Okay, that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it goes
play-by-play.
He apologized to Chris Gasper was there too.
Yeah.
Oh God. What would be wrong if he went on and said, "Yeah, that's not what I meant"? That's clearly not what I meant.
I mean, this again, Mike, where you might kind of Mike drifts in like pretend world where businesses don't have like in the perfect world, of course, where you live, like nothing, but like these, they have obligations. And clearly they said to him, you want to keep your fucking job? Here's what you have to say. Because it's not worth our time for this to be a big blow up thing and people are pulling out advertising from the station, which they would do if it gets big enough. I could tell you that. Right. Or from the Patriots. Patriots like we like you, Zoe, but we'll fucking get rid of you and bring in, I don't know, whoever. Kyle, I don't know, fucking, who's the guy from Rob Ninkovich or something, and like no one will really care.
Yeah, but it's just weirder to me that it's better to say, I was racist and now I'm not.
Well, as I always
that's clearly not what I meant.
Say, like, let's just say 800,000 people hear that, okay?
Right.
0 believe him, A.
Right.
And B, no one's minded. The people are still going to be like, they're going to hear this. Like I always say, they're going to hear this apology and they're going to say, well, that's a bullshit apology. What the fuck are you apologizing for?
And half of that 800,000 didn't know about it before.
Correct. Probably. But they're doing it because they are saying we are going to lose these, like fucking say this and then we're done and never talk about it again. Ever.
Yeah.
And that's part of my problem is like I still joke about Aaron Andrews or joke about fucking fighting for you or joke about my rant against the Red Sox as opposed to just shutting up and doing the fucking show. But, I don't do that.
Do you honestly think, like to Mike's point, if he just came out and he said, listen, I did not mean to be racist whatsoever. I just can't watch this motherfucker play football ever again. Like I honestly can't do it.
You think the sponsors who are bitching 98.5 would be appeased by that?
That's all he meant to say is that I can't watch this guy anymore.
Do you live in pretend world too?
No, I know, but I just wonder what the
response. If he had said I don't watch this motherfucker play anymore, I think there'd be some issues.
Well, Dave's not writing the speech.
A little gentler.
We fired him from the script writing.
No, at that point you say nothing negative. You say, and I heard him say later on, Cam's a class guy. He was great about it. I apologized to him. He was great. Done. And by the way, everyone I've talked to said that Cam Newton is a really nice guy. So I'm sure he was like, whatever. It's, maybe he was like, I don't really care. Or he's like, I don't want to get this guy fucking fired.
Yeah.
Ironically, Reamer with that, Brady saved Reamer's job.
Right.
Now, I think if Brady hadn't been a fucking baby and hadn't hung up,
his job wouldn't have been in jeopardy.
Correct.
Originally.
Yeah, he hadn't been a little fucking bitch, but that's who Brady is. And now people are starting to figure that out. But that's a different conversation.